Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be looking at EE's brand new 1.6 gigabit home broadband service. This has become available in my area and I've just signed up for it. This video will look at how the installation went, the hardware that was provided and the performance of the service. I will also give you my comments on BT Broadband, having used them for many years now, and compare them with my experience with Virgin Media. For most people, the fastest download speed available using traditional fibre broadband providers in the UK is 900 megabits per second and 1130 megabits per second if you live in a Virgin cable area. For those of you who have watched my Gig 1 Fibre internet review video, you will know that speeds over 1000 megabits per second from one device can be a problem due to the limitations of the router and network setup you have at home. As you know, BT and EE are now the same company, and it's openly stated that BT powers EE Broadband. So which of the two should you go for? First, let's compare the fastest broadband packages these two providers can offer. Both providers will ask you for your current postcode and address before showing you what products are available at your location. The links to the websites for BT and EE are in the description below. It is important you put this in accurately, as I've found that the choice of plans can vary from street to street, even if they are next to each other. With BT, the fastest speed is 900 megabits per second, and with EE, it is 1.6 gigabits per second. That is 1600 megabits per second. The contract prices are the same monthly cost over 21 months with both providers. Download and upload speeds are the same on the 900 megabits per second product with over both providers. Note there is a clear statement that prices will increase on March 31st above inflation. This means that the overall charges for your broadband package will not be fixed over the 24 months and will likely be higher per month than what you initially signed up for. However, I recommend you go with EE, as mobile perks are also included, which means all my EE mobile plans now have unlimited data. I can also choose new plans on a 30-day rolling contract. The 900 megabits per second broadband package is called Full Fibre Gigabit Essentials, and the 1.6 gigabits per second product is Busiest Home Bundle. EE will give you what they call Smart Hub Plus, and this is Wi-Fi 6. If you pick the EE 1.6 gigabits per second plan, you also get Smart Wi-Fi Plus, which is like BT Complete Wi-Fi, giving you an extra router that creates a mesh network. These are called Wi-Fi discs on BT. You are provided with one Smart Wi-Fi Plus router and can ask for up to 2 more. The Smart Wi-Fi Plus is available with slower plans from EE and all plans from BT at an additional monthly cost. Hybrid Connect, which switches your internet connection to a backup mobile connection should the main broadband go down, is available from EE and BT. Note this is still 4G and not 5G. In my experience with BT Broadband, the connection rarely went down, and when it did, it was usually in the middle of the night and only for a few minutes. I personally would not bother with Hybrid Connect for a domestic installation. If you look at my previous BT Halo video, you will see that Hybrid Connect is not instant and it can take some time to switch over to mobile internet should your main fibre go down. If you have one, the digital landline home phone does not work through Hybrid Connect. EE states that they can restrict your service if you use the Smart Hybrid Connect for a purpose other than when your broadband is down. This means you're not supposed to take it away from your home address. The 1.6 gigabit product from EE also has something called Wi-Fi Enhance, which, if you look at the terms and conditions, is provided by a company called NetDuma. Hopefully I've pronounced that properly. It prioritizes network traffic for games and productivity software like Microsoft Office, Teams and Zooms. You can either select game mode or work mode from the app. The theory appears to be that network traffic from software relating to mode you have protected is prioritized, but I'm not sure how much of a difference this will make if you already have an ultra high speed connection. Your package may also include or have the option of a variant of cybersecurity software, which currently appears to be from Norton. In the past, this was provided by McAfee. Licenses are available for up to 15 devices. Now let's look at the hardware. The BT OpenReach engineer installed a new fibre modem into my premises. They installed this one, which is much smaller than the one on my previous BT Halo service. Looking at the OpenReach website, this one is supplied by Nokia. The other variants also had the connection for a landline and battery backup. If you're finding this video useful and are interested in technology, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the video get to more people. Now let's look at the smart hub itself. It comes in recyclable packaging. Inside we have the hub itself, a power adapter and a spare Ethernet cable. Note that on the back we have 4 Ethernet ports. These appear to be 1 gigabit Ethernet ports. They are no 2.5 gigabit ports. This will cause a bottleneck if you have the 1.6 gigabit service, as I will point out later in this video. The telephone connection is here if you have a landline. The broadband connection may be for non-fiber connections that connect to a standard BT telephone socket with an adapter. The WAN connection connects the hub to the OpenReach modem. There is a USB port, but there is no mention of its use in any manual that I could find. Here is a video of the smart Wi-Fi Plus router. There's nothing really special here. I have connected the Ethernet port of the smart Wi-Fi Plus router directly to the hub using an Ethernet cable, which has improved its performance, just as the BT Wi-Fi disc did. Setup of the Smart Hub Plus was straightforward using the EE app. Now let's look at actual internet speeds. First, I will test the internet speed of the 1.6 gigabit busiest home bundle using a Cat6 Ethernet cable connected to one of the Ethernet ports on the Smart Hub Plus. The other end is connected to a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port connected to a Mac through my CalDigit device. Shout out to the Ookla speed test, which I'll be using to run the tests. The link to the speed test is in the description below, so you can compare my findings with your own internet connection. Here we go. We cannot go any higher because of the limitations of the Smart Hub router. EE should upgrade this router for anyone on the busiest home bundle so they can use the advertised download speeds through one device. The next question is, how can I check the genuine speed of the busiest home bundle given the 1 gigabit Ethernet limitation on the Smart Hub router? I could purchase a router with 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports, but they are quite expensive. They will undoubtedly go down in price and become more viable as time goes on. Fortunately, macOS appeals to have a built-in setting where you can connect the Mac directly to the OpenReach modem. Effectively, this lets you connect your computer directly to the OpenReach fiber modem. EE now even provide you with the settings to do this, or if you wish to use your own router. Let us run the speed test now. We are directly connected to the internet without the speed limitations of the ports on the Smart Hub Plus. As you can see, we can now access the full speed of the 1.6 gigabit EE connection on one device, and the figures are impressive. we are getting 1681 megabits per second download and 115 megabits per second upload speeds. It's such a shame upload speeds are restricted here in the UK. So how does the EE connection compare with Virgin Media? Well, based on my experience with both of these providers over several years, this is my opinion. The Virgin Media service is more prone to slower connections, but this could be because many more people are using it, and it's definitely more popular in the areas which appear to have cable services. It may have been the only way to get high-speed internet in my area for a long time, so many people were forced to use it as it was the only provider. Virgin also appeared to have more episodes where it completely lost connection, but this was only for a short period before being restored. EE and BT are offering better connection and reliability for now, but it will be interesting to see whether this is maintained as more customers come on board. Prices are still broadly similar between Virgin Media and BT broadband. I hope you have found this video useful. Have you got EE at home or BT broadband at home? Are you recently signed up to one of their high-speed packages? Put your comments below. If you're interested in signing up for EE broadband or mobile, there are links in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.